Hi, good day. My name is Tracy McLean Lowe. Welcome back to T Junction. And well, where have I been galling around to this the past week? On last weekend, I went to the farmers market up at 1531 Eglinton Avenue West. Um, Now they're back after a whole COVID sabbatical. Um, and the weather wasn't very cheerful. I mean, it was hopeful, but not cheerful. Um, We did get a splash of rain, which always ruins a good day out. But nonetheless, where did we start? I'll start here with Granny Lee's Kitchen. She does some wonderful Caribbean food and some really, really great ginger beer. Selling at about $15 a bottle. I think it's 750 milliliter, possibly a liter bottle. And I happened to pick up as I was leaving some tamarind balls and gazada. It's the first time I'd taste tamarind balls. Interesting. Quite tart. Definitely a taste that one has got to got to know what one's getting oneself in for. They are quite hot, but nonetheless very tasty. And a gazada, which is a rather tasty pastry. And yes, so that was all very good. Right next door to Granny Lee's, we had Johnson's Juices, full of fresh juices, and very healthy juices. They had ginger and papaya. They had berry juices. They had kelp and spinach and greens juices, beets juices, all very good for the health and also quite fruity and tasty. They do deliveries. I will put their details down at the bottom as well in the description. Next door to them, we had Pilau Catering. Now, Pilau Catering is from Trinidad, or is giving you a taste of Trinidad and Tobago. They had some pilau rice, and I think a chicken and vegetable dish on the side for serving. They do their own sauces. They have a large menu, which they do for outside catering, adding catering to restaurants, and selling to other delicatessens and stuff in the neighborhood. Next to them, we had the Honey Guru, a man who can tell you what's good for your health with his honey. And he had some wonderful varieties of flavors. I couldn't tell you all of them off the top of my head. My aim is to get you down to visit the farmers markets and to try buying some of their wares. Um, Not sure if it'll happen again, but they were giving out a few dollar vouchers to help kickstart people buying some of the products and seeing the people around, which was very nice, and I appreciated those that I got. And Julie spent them at Granny Lee's on the way out for pastries and stuff, as you do. Um, Next to them was Spike Your Food. Um, Spike Your Food does some one things I have tasted are his Jamaican patties, which he supplies to various food outlets, delicatessens, retail outlets in the area, as well as doing private catering. And it's not just his Jamaican patties. He too has a host of goodies on his menu, and I will put his link down in the description too. Who else did we have? We had a lady selling some very interesting makeup, naturally made makeup products. She was selling her smaller tester products at about $5 a jar. Lip balms, body butters, and a host of various facial creams that I couldn't even begin to start telling you what she had, but she had a ton of it. Then we had Omo. They were making bamboo products and using recycled products to make a variety of things. And these include iPad covers, sunglass frames, nail brushes, shoe shine brushes. I think those are shoe shine brushes, even toothbrushes. So a host of useful goodies all made out of stuff that keeps the world environmentally friendly. And and we had our little vegetable store there, and it was the greens vegetables, you know, your kelp and your spinach and your broccolis and your cabbages and a array of wonderful herbs as well. There was some chives and other bits and pieces along there too. And that was the Toronto Black Farmers Market. Now, as I said, you can probably see that there's a big difference between the pictures here and my pictures from St. Clair West on such a sunny, beautiful day. This is the windswept winery, and this is their table, which they put up every 2 weeks at the St. Clair, or should I say, the Wychwood Barns farmers market. And with it being next to a park and the kids being out, it effectively made the entire place look a lot busier than Eglinton on what was effectively a bad weather day, I would say. But it does provide more interest. And again, this young lady was down at the Wychwood Barnes Market selling really interesting products. I mean, it's not the kind of products one always finds if you go coming from the UK that I generally find at a UK farmer's market or something similar. So that's always nice because it was literally totally different from anything else that I'd found. But as I said, the sad thing is the inclement weather. I tend to think of St. Lawrence Market down sort of like east of Young, down at the bottom there by the lake, and it's fully covered. It's beautiful markets. 2021, they got their first sort of like stall that was available for lease after many, many years. So people have been in there a while. I'm not talking about going into those where people have been a while. I'm talking about something that is a little bit more flexible so that new people can come in. But in places where there's space to have more, place to move, near a park, undercover, somehow, okay, this is the apple markets in Covent Gardens. Yeah, Covent Gardens, the apple market. It's all undercover. So it can be used for, all 4 seasons. And it usually is, it's open at Christmas, it's open throughout the year. And even there, not all the stall holders are back all the time. They come and they go. So that's our more flexible sort of like use of the space. So it's not always the same, and it is a little bit more different and exciting. We can't do something like they do a souk in Africa or in the UK maybe. And Italy has theirs running by the river, you know. But sometimes it's not so easy for us to get down to the lakeside to go to some of these markets, although we do have some markets down there too. My thought was, though, is we are busy knocking down a lot of buildings to replace them with condos. And with Toronto's condos sitting at a 60% empty capacity, one has to ask the question why we insist that we really need anything above 20 stories or even 13 stories, because in Ontario, 13 stories and above, or 14 and above, is classified as a high rise. They are environmentally unfriendly, these tall high rises above that particular point. Their carbon footprint is larger than 15 smaller buildings put together. And that's just from the construction. Plus, it puts everybody in the neighborhood into a severe case of upheaval when it comes to business and travel and working and living and shopping. When they're smaller, they go up quicker. They are less expensive. They are more affordable than the high rises. I mean, one apartment building down in the condos was up for 2.5 million, is now selling for 1.5 because nobody wants to buy it. So, we do really need to seriously think that, because I do think that we're looking at our plans that were being made prior to 2020, and we're trying to put those into play for the future, but they may not necessarily work so well for our future. Instead of having anchor stores at the bottom like Nordstrom, because they've left the country now, we could have more open market type places at the base of these things that aren't just locked into tiny small stores that do have our fresh food that that comes straight from our farms that are Canadian, rather than having been shipped up from Mexico or whatever the case might be to get to our local supermarket. So we do need to be looking at this all very differently. But on that note, it's party weekend this weekend, and there is salsa on St. Clair. And I'm going, so I hope you're going too. It's on Saturday, July 8th and 9th, and it starts between, I think it's between 12 and 11 or 12 and midnight. No, 12 and 10, I think, on the Saturday, and the same on, closes a little earlier on the Sunday. But you can get down there. They're giving away some free dancing lessons. And even if you're not literally going to dance, but you want a new dance outfit anyway, I would suggest popping into Gypsy. Ob hmm, Found objects. They are on St. Clair West, just after Christie. Going west on your right-hand side. Oh, excuse me. Such a cozy little shop. They have got tons of stuff, and it's very interesting. Nothing you'd find in Nordstrom. This isn't stuff you'd find in those places. So yeah, off the beaten track and with very interesting clothing. I'm sure we could all find, if not something for dancing, certainly something for summer. I know I have. Um, and I'll be going back when I'm down there this weekend as well for salsa on St. Clair. So that's it from me, Tracy McLean Lowe, and T Junction. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to hearing back from you. You can maybe comment down below. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. And oopsie daisy.